kind of twitching. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Parker with the Prince George's County Police Department in Prince George's County, Maryland. We are alongside Washington, D.C. We are the home of the University of Maryland, go Terps, the Washington Redskins, NASA, and about 900,000 people. I heard this phrase coined once, recovering reporter. That is what I am. I actually have 18 years in broadcast journalism experience. I was at C-SPAN for 4 years, and then I started my career as a one-man woman in Hagerstown, Maryland, carrying the 50-pound camera and anchoring, reporting, writing, producing, running to the fire, then putting on the makeup, the whole 9 yards. I then eventually went to Washington, D.C. and spent 13 years there, most recently at WJLA TV. And I think once you are a journalist, you think, I think we have some journalists in the room, is that right? Welcome. I think once you have that in you, it's just how you operate. We operate quickly. We're adrenaline junkies, much like police officers. And we want to be first, much like police officers. I can't compare to Sean from Seattle, but we are trying. We were barely on the map in 2010. I came to the department in 2011, and slowly we started tweeting out our news. Our message had not gotten out before in this way, certainly, and good or bad, we operate as a transparent police department, and we feel it is our obligation and our responsibility to let our community know what their department is doing. Facebook shot up recently, and social media is so funny, you never know what is going to click, and we're actually at 16,000 now since I did this PowerPoint a couple weeks ago. There was one photo that drew 3,000 likes. Anyone take a guess? Not a dog, but those are always good. We have no horses. Baby. It was a baby in a police uniform. His father's on the department. His father's smiling. Baby's smiling. You saw the picture. The picture's adorable, I will give you that. But it has been seen 150,000 times and garnered 3,000 likes on Facebook. I find it so fascinating. You just don't know what will stick. So keep trying. But if you have dogs on your department, put the dog pictures up, let me tell you. So what I'm going to do is walk you through quickly from start to finish how we operate in our media relations division like a newsroom, and how through this one case, this one murder at a hotel, how we told our police department's story much like a newsroom would tell you what's happening. And it started on a weeknight with a homicide lieutenant letting me know that there had been a murder at a prominent hotel in our community. So very quickly, working in conjunction with them, what can we say and what can't we say at this point, because that is what we always do. Let me get something out. I didn't include the fact that it was a hotel at this first tweet because it was already going to be sensational enough. Let's just get the information out and let's get the reporters going where they're going to be going anywhere. I know that for some who don't embrace social media, they're concerned that, well, if you get on there and you start tweeting, well, you're going to tell the media stuff that they're not going to know, or you're going to tell our community stuff that they don't need to know. Well, A, they live in your community, so they have the right to know, and B, everyone is a reporter now. There is no more hiding and hoping. If we take nothing away from this conference, there is no more hiding and hoping in 2014 that the story's not going to get out. So take control of the story, whatever it is. If it's good, if it's bad, if it's neutral, you be the source of your department's news. We slowly started breaking the story and doling out information over the course of that night, that weeknight where it broke, and asking people to come forward and call our crime solvers numbers. Our tips are up 17% between 2012 and 2013, due in no small part to our use of social media and pushing out that number constantly. We are constantly trying to drive traffic to our own pages. So while we're tweeting, we're directing people to our Facebook page where they can find surveillance video. Surveillance video, surveillance photos are not only appealing to the media, they're appealing to community members. They want to feel like they're a part of something and to know something. And people are visual. They want to see things. The car that was involved, we got a picture of it, and we got that out as soon as possible. The phrase "feed the beast," the media constantly has deadlines. There is no more, we're on at noon, we're on at 5, and we're on at 11. They're always on. They're tweeting constantly. They're posting to their websites. They're posting to their Facebook pages. The days of deadlines, traditionally, as we all knew them, those are over. So they constantly want to update. I deal with a Washington Post reporter all the time who asks, if you can give me anything, one line to freshen up my story, give it to me, even if it's a small nugget, which just goes to show even a national newspaper, they're desperate for anything new. And they're tweeting as much as we're tweeting, and any tweet can contain one new nugget of information. Catch the suspect on camera, we drive that person to our Facebook page. Facebook is useful in that you can post a number of images. This particular post had 5 different angles of the suspect's face, and we are pushing that out constantly because we need our community's help. This is not just, and I try to remind our officers and our civilians in media relations that all of this work that we do on social media is not just for the media. It's twofold. It's to tell the media because they're going to help tell our story exponentially with their hundreds of thousands of eyes, but it's also for the man who lives in College Park and the woman who lives in Suitland. We're speaking to our community now unlike we have ever done before. And in turn, that makes people more likely to trust their police department. We are the source of their news. We spend a lot of time thinking about who is going to tell our story that particular day or night, how we're going to tell it, what elements we're going to use to tell it. It's not routine. And in this case, we decided because this was a prominent hotel, this is where our District 4 Coffee Club, our community supporters sit down with our police commanders on a monthly basis and talk about ideas and get to know each other and network. It's a high-profile, prominent hotel. And we knew that a lot of people would be touched by this crime. If you don't know Oxon Hill, you may have gone to that hotel. You may have driven past that hotel. It's near the outlets. We knew this was something that would affect a lot of people. So we spent a lot of time focusing on how to do this. And for the first time, we rolled out this big screen television that we'd had before. We hadn't used in a news conference. And we took the time to use the video that we had already put out on our social media pages, that the media already had, but we took Captain Nichols here, the commander of homicide, and had him walk the media who was attending this news conference through what they were seeing. It was a little added layer of, it was really just a nuanced way to tell this story. And hopefully, there's something here where I can't play. Scott. Basically, this will be Captain Nichols describing what everyone, again, already has, they've already seen, but it's different when the homicide commander is walking you through what you're seeing. Oh, do you have to leave the thing altogether?
Yeah, I gotta get it and find the video.
Okay. So as we figure out who's going to stand up at a news conference, we decide who from, in this case, a homicide, who from homicide should be there, and who else should join that person. Should it be a spokesperson? Should it be the chief? Should it be? It's Clarion Nichols. Yes. I might need you to stand alongside me.
Is that it?
Yeah, there's going to be another one. Now where's the volume? Poor Scott.
He then jumps over the counter and exits out, jumps back into the vehicle, and flees. He then jumps over the counter and exits out, jumps back into the vehicle, and flees.
Okay, and then if you can escape from that and go to
He then jumps over.
Stawinski, another thing. So just from you hearing that brief little snippet, what does that do for you? As if you're, pretend as if you're a community member hearing that.
Investigation.
You feel like you're in on it a little bit. Is it?
You also get an idea of how you can help. Police are sharing information with you, so they're basically asking you as a viewer to say, "You see this car? Call us." You're calling them to action in a sense, like providing detailed information.
And along those lines of the action, this is our Deputy Chief of Patrol, who also spoke at this news conference. This is why.
Show you some very clear video, very clear photographs of this arrogant criminal. We are asking the community to help us identify and arrest this individual so that they are not at liberty to commit additional offenses. The details of the crime will show you some very clear video, very clear photographs of this arrogant criminal. We are asking the community to help us identify and arrest this individual so that they are not at liberty to commit additional offenses.
What did you take away from Deputy Chief Stawinski's remarks? What words stood out? Arrogant. Why did arrogant stand out? Have you ever heard a criminal described as arrogant? I was at IACP when this occurred and was talking to him on the phone, and he was so emotional and angry about this crime, and he used that word, arrogant. And the longer we talked, the more I realized he should be the voice for this, because he was so passionate about it that it would convey, and it did. And he used that same call to action and wanting the community to get involved so this guy or guys or suspects were not at liberty to do something like this again. Just thought his words were spot on, and those are the words. The words that he used on the phone with me was the soundbite that people picked up because it stood out so much. And so it pays for you to put some thought into it, not a lot, put some thought into who should speak and to why, and that may change for every single news conference you do. The call to action that we spoke about, we use that Crime Solvers number constantly, and we're also constantly sharing information via Twitter. That is our first source that we go to, our #1 source before we put anything else out anywhere. Before we call reporters, before we post it to a blog, we tweet it first, because every journalist in Washington, D.C. is on Twitter. And because of that quick nature, just a short burst of information, I feel is perfectly conducive to breaking police stories. We are engaging our community as we have never done before. There was a post recently on our Facebook page from the mother of a murder victim who thanked us for making the arrest. And when I told our chief that had occurred, it stopped him in his tracks. And he felt like that was a turning point for our department. That single post from that mother said so much to him about how far we had come in engaging with our community, that she felt comfortable enough to go to that venue, to that platform, and thank her department. So 2 days after this hotel crime, homicide investigators have a long way to go. And we are getting inundated by the media, because this community does care so much about this particular crime. This was a pregnant woman behind the counter. You saw the guy jump over with the gun, and she gave him the money, and he's running out the door. He's at the back door when this 27-year-old victim, Jesse Chavez, who's a Prince George's County resident and the bar and restaurant manager, comes over, hears the commotion, comes over to help, and in some way confronts the suspect at the door, who has the money, who has the gun, shoots and kills him as he runs out the door. And so this struck a nerve with so many people. Obviously, our deputy chief, as you heard from him, but so many people. And we decided to take a gamble and basically say, it's been 48 hours and we've got nothing. And do you want to do that? Yes, sir. Yes. I talked to them first, and we had a conversation, and they were eager for anything we could do to get attention on this crime. And so we gambled about how that would sound. Do you want to be the police department and say we got nothing? We did it. It worked. People responded. Bam. So a week later, we had 3 suspects under arrest for this crime. And something that, let me go back, that the chief talked to me when we sat down for my interview to take this job. He expressed his frustration that the department was not getting its good news out and its arrest news out. And I said, well, chief, you know, I've been reporting on your department, and I've tried to get information, and I've gotten news releases 2 days later about an arrest. Reporters don't want to cover 2 days old arrest news. They want to cover it when it happened 2 days ago, before it went through 17 layers of approval to send out a paragraph-long news release. And so you need buy-in from the top that we're going to work as a transparent police department, but we're going to be a quick, timely, accurate police department at the same time. And this chief is on board with that, and we work very hard to share our arrest news with our community. Once again, this is one case. We're breaking the story from beginning to the end. And we let people know that we had 3 people in custody, and as that morning of the news conference unfolded, we, again, feeding the beast, sharing the information that we want shared with the media. Through the course of the morning, we had identified the gunman, the getaway driver, and the shooter, at the same time announcing the fact that we'd have a news conference at 11 a.m. There was still more information that we had that we hadn't yet tweeted out that we saved for the news conference. We posted it to Facebook. We let everyone know. We got tons of positive response from our community, thanking them for letting us know. But we saved information to tweet out during the news conference. Again, we're operating like a newsroom, and so we're saving new nuggets of information that we can tweet out first during the news conference. So we've discussed this fact that the weapon in the getaway car had been recovered, and Christina is off to the side, iPad in hand, ready to tweet what I say. The second I say it, she tweets it. And we do it because we want to beat the media, because I'm still a little bit competitive that way. And they're going to tweet it out as well, and all the reporters are going to tweet it, and their stations are going to retweet it, but we're doing it first. And it's a small thing, but again, I want us to control our message. Same thing while Captain Nichols is speaking, we're tweeting out, and this is not a huge deal. Obviously, they're going to be charged with murder, but we say what charges, and we put it out before we've announced it, because that's how we roll. The big screen TV, we liked how it worked for the initial news conference where the captain was narrating the video, so we brought it back out, and we put up the mugshots of the 3 suspects during that news conference. Why did we do that? This is easy. This is a softball. It's a visual, right? At a news conference, there's only so many shots you can take. So instead of taking the picture of the captain who's speaking and a picture of me and a cutaway shot of the camera, now they have 1 shot and then 3 individual shots to cut away to, showing the bad guys that we arrested. Again, we keep pushing crime solvers, and in this case, we remind people that someone took the time to let us know about the bad guys, about what they had seen, and that it led to an arrest, and that they could get up to $25,000 for making that call. There was a time in Prince George's County where the chief of police and the state's attorney didn't speak. That is no longer the case whatsoever, and on any chance we can, we include our partners in our social media message, whether we're sharing something that they're doing or including them in a tweet. Again, it's a subtle thing, but it sends a message that we are a team and we work together. And you don't want to inundate your audience with your good news, but you want to make sure they see it. And don't forget, I don't know how many of you follow, I follow probably 1,200 people or outlets on Twitter. If you blink, you can miss 7 tweets. So it's a fine line between pushing your message ad nauseum and just making sure that everyone gets the opportunity to see it. This is probably, I think, one of the most interesting things that I found as a former reporter doing the job that I do now. Christina and I both write like journalists. Sean talked about the benefits of that and of not using cop speak. We have found that when we write the way that the media writes, that they will take this, whatever we've posted to our blog, and read it verbatim on air. You cannot ask for more than that in my position. They are conveying the message that you want told the way you told it, and we strive to do everything the way a journalist does. We want the information to be out there quickly. It has got to be accurate, as you all know. And in some cases, it's informative. In other cases, it's also engaging, depending on what the content is. But this is, I think, one of the highest compliments that we can be paid is after something's posted at 4:02, at 4:07, a reporter is on the air reading it. And that's it. Any questions? Sir?
Do you get any feedback from your district attorney on the kind of things you guys are posting? Do they have any concerns?
No, certainly none to me. And I work very closely with the state's attorney's PIO. There's been nothing expressed to us, possibly because we go to the investigators first before we put something out to clear it with them. Yes?
When you advertise that you have the murder weapon recovered, did you already have the lab report back? Or was it kind of a leap of faith that you had the murder weapon because it's the same caliber?
Yes, no, we have confirmed through ballistics, fingerprints, however we do through evidence, we have confirmed that that is the weapon, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, sir?
By tweeting out the information first, prior to holding your news conference, how did you manage the media that were calling as soon as you tweeted that they were looking for more information? Because I'm sure you got inundated with calls. How do you handle that transitional period?
That's the funny thing. Since we started using Twitter, it's gotten to the point where we can tweet something out, for example this, and say, these 3 guys are arrested, this is their name, this is where they live, they're going to be charged in the death of such and such, the news conference is at 11, here are their pictures, and crickets. Phone does not ring. To the point where I'm checking to make sure the tweet went out. We put everything out that they need at that point between the time, if we announce it at 9 a.m. and the news conference is at 11, we've told you who the suspects are, we've told you what they're charged with, we've given you pictures, you can now go look up those suspects to see if they have, and they're busy, and they know that we'll be there 11 to answer anything else. The phone doesn't ring. It's a wonderful tool, especially if you have limited resources. Thank you very much.